Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us on Let's Chat Survivor, where we'll be discussing actually two episodes today, episode 4 and episode 5, as a little bit of a catch up. First of all, my name is Saul, and you can catch me here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and now Snapchat at Perspective. And with me is my co-host, Mark. Mark, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MarcoPolo310. And congratulations, Saul.
Thank you very much. Yes, like I said before, we are doing a bit of a catch up, catching up to with episode 4 and 5. Reason being, I have been a little bit out of the city here, going through a tribal merge. I am now married, and we're still trying to catch up with everything. But hopefully we can get everything squared off, and by this week or by next week. Well, and thank you, Mark. You've been congratulating me for about a week now. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and record both episodes, episode 4, episode 5 here. We will go ahead and split them up for YouTube, so you can watch them separately. And let's go ahead and get through it here. We'll try not to spoil too much into the next episode. You guys probably most likely already saw this, but still, we want to try to stick with each individual episode. We're gonna start with episode 4. Where's the beef? Or is it where's or what's the beef? I'm not sure what it was, but what's the beef? What did you think about this episode?
Honestly, nothing too shocking here, and I think once the immunity challenge is over, you could kind of sense who was going home.
Yeah.
So nothing too shocking here. So.
Yeah, it was a sad. I can say it was a sad moment for not only for I think for us, but for a lot of Survivor fans. I know there's some Survivor fans out there that didn't like Jeff as much as we did, but he was entertainment value. And if anything, he since he did not win the season, I'm pretty sure he won an invitation back for a not next season, but for a following season. So let's go ahead and just dissect into the episode real quick here. We won't take too much on each episode here. We start the episode with, of course, Jeff is talking how he's indebted with Tasha and Savage because they allowed him to stay over PG. Like I said last time around, he really kissed their butts during tribal council, and really just laid it on thick to go ahead and stay in the game. And Tasha talks about how she knows that PG should have stayed. It should have been Jeff that goes home, but because of what he did in the previous episode, where he tried to communicate with who was it, with Kelly. I mean, what do you think here? If they know that he should have gone home, what was the reason to keep him?
PG was just a little less committal than Jeff. Jeff was a little more aggressive in trying to get them to keep him, and PG was kind of giving them like a half yes, half no, kind of. They don't know what direction she was going in, and they didn't think they could trust her as much as Jeff.
Yeah, and which really leaves Wu on the outside because he was the other vote against Abby Maria. But we see very quickly that Tasha is telling Wu, don't worry about it. Don't have to worry. You're not going to go home. And Abby right away gets into trouble because she confronts Tasha. And it's not just, it's the same kind of confrontation that she did with PG back in the original Takeo. With different results because Tasha, I think Tasha is able to hold her emotions in check, and also because she hasn't been attacked for as long as PG was being attacked by Abby. So Tasha does keep her cool there, which I think really helps her game later on. Doesn't have to worry about Abby switching over. So yeah, so that was, of course, that's the little pre-title portion of the episode where we come back from tribal council. We go ahead and go to Bayon, and Jeremy is talking about his immunity idol that he received in the previous episode, in episode 3, and we see it's a necklace medallion. I still haven't seen anything that really you can say it doesn't look like an idol. It doesn't look as as spiffy as the one that Kelly has. Do you agree with that?
Nothing too crazy just yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell there's a difference in value because it doesn't look as great as the Kelly's, but it's not too. It doesn't look like like how you said, piece of crap, whatever.
It's fancy enough, but
yeah,
it certainly is distinct. It's distinct from the first one that Kelly found.
Yeah. So there goes the whole thing is, now if one person knows what the immunity idol, let's say Kelly knows the immunity idol looks like hers, and then Jeremy is trying to pull her in and say, look, I have this immunity idol, is she gonna believe him? You never know.
I mean, if he presents the idol with the note, I think that's gonna be key here. If he keeps the note along with the idol, I think it'll be a little more believable.
And that's one of the things that we really don't know, because I remember in previous seasons when our podcast friend here, Rob C, he had mentioned why don't they present the note, and he goes, they might not be able to. It might be against the rules to hold on to the note and show it to somebody as validation.
Really?
So I don't know because I've never seen anybody present their idol with the note. So I don't know if they have to destroy it or do something, or they just don't think about it. I'm not sure.
Because I think usually, just for ease of safekeeping, they usually wrap the idols in the note that it came with, just so it's easier to put away and easier to grab and things like that. So I don't know if they're required to throw that away.
Yeah, and I remember. Yeah, you're right. I do remember seeing that, but I still think it's funny that people don't show it off. They don't show. Hey, I have this note here. It's real, and maybe they do go ahead and put that little stipulation that they can't use a note so that they can encourage the use of fake idols. I don't know.
Maybe.
But Jeremy does have the idol. He gets to relish him that he hasn't, but he doesn't. He lies to Stephen Fishback about being able to find it. He even plans a little search party to keep looking for the idol. He's like, is it in the trees? Is it in the floor? I don't know where it's at. It could be anywhere. Let's go find it. And we see Jeremy do this little inner monologue to himself, or to us, really. I don't mind being the new JT. I want to be Fishback's man, so that in case my name comes up, Fishback will come back and tell me, hey, your name's on the chopping block. And what do you think? Is that do you think that's a good strategy there?
I mean, Jeremy's got to be thinking that Steven doesn't want to play exactly the same game as he did before. But if he thinks that's a valid strategy, then great. But I mean, he's got to know he's going to be some sort of target when the merge happens, right?
Yeah, and that's probably why he's doing this. One, because he knows that people are after Steven because they know how he plays. Two, because he himself is a threat, so he can keep him as a shield. So he goes, hey, I'm still here, but look, Steven's still here. Hey, throw him under the bus, just like Kelly says about Terry. So yeah, that was pretty much what we get a buy on at the beginning of this episode. We switch over to Angkor, where Savage is still really just dreading living on Angkor. He talks about how the cove is dead. There's no food. He calls it the survivor ghetto. But I did notice he has a Hawaiian sling. Was this something that was provided to them? Do you remember?
shoot, did it come from like a reward challenge? I don't recall.
I don't really recall them getting it. Maybe it was part of something that they did get with the machete or something. But
Maybe.
as far as I know, they had said that they were going to start with nothing. But I guess, I mean, even if they gave them the Hawaiian sling, there's nothing there for them to get anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, it might have been provided to them at the beach as part of like the basics,
yeah.
you know, basic camp setup. So
So
might have been at the camp already when they got there.
yeah, and we see them. They're looking for stuff. They have one or two little, what are those little what are they? What they're eating off the rocks? I forgot their name. They're not oysters. Do you know what they're called?
Um,
Well, they're eating that little
it was
slimy
some sort of
stuff.
shellfish.
Yeah, yeah. They're the clams, I guess. I don't know. They're eating something
Yeah.
off there, and that's really all we see from them at this point. They start talking about receiving the note for the reward challenge, and Wu really starts to say, "I really doubt we can win. There is nothing we can do. We're hungry. We're losing. There's nothing we can do." So we see them at the challenge, and are you surprised that nobody is surprised that PG went? They're not like, oh my god, they didn't get rid of Savage. They didn't get rid of Tasha. They don't show anyone being surprised that PG was the one that is voted off.
Um, I guess PG from the get-go was really, I don't want to say inconsequential, but she was really just staying in the background, and so uh, sh- she wasn't a big target as people were expecting people to get rid of, and so I mean they should have been surprised.
Yeah, because it was a tribe that was Takeo heavy, old Takeo. So the old Bayon members should have been the ones to go, but
Yeah,
we see that this is not the case. We see that everyone's like, whatever. Like they
yeah.
expected it
I
to
mean,
happen.
yeah. I mean, maybe she just wasn't a part of anybody else's plans. So,
So they were just like,
eh,
yeah.
give him go.
So yeah,
Poor Pete.
yeah, we're still very heartbroken over that.
A little bit.
So we go in with the reward challenge. Do you remember what this challenge was?
Uh, it was a hero challenge. Surprisingly, each tribe can only send out one member to do the challenge, and what it was they had to get these sandbags out in the water, and then bring it back to the beach, where there's a little tower and a little plank, and you got to use the plank to launch it into the net that's on top of the tower. And Angkor sent Savage, Bayon sent Jeremy Collins, and Takeo sent out Terry Dietz for this challenge.
And there was a whole little bit of a type of a conspiracy theory as far as why they did this. Knowing that Angkor is already down in numbers and they have Abby Maria and they can't sit her out. The
Yeah,
whole little conspiracy is that they decided to go ahead and do that Heroes Challenge to give Angkor a leg up or try to have a chance to win this, which I think I can buy it because Abby Marie doesn't win too many challenges or in where she participates
no,
in.
no.
And I think Jeff even calls it out later on in the next episode actually, but yeah, we see everybody take off, and Savage is really struggling. You can tell. They put these platforms out where it was not gonna get deep enough for them to swim. They were gonna have to run in the water, and I've been out on the beach where it's like this, and it is difficult to run.
Yeah,
I'm a big guy, right? But but still, it is pretty difficult to run in the water. So we see Terry takes off in the lead right away, followed by Jeremy, and then Savage, of course. Terry's the first one to come back. He scores right away in his first one. He sets back. Savage and Jeremy both fail in the first try, I believe. And then Terry's already reaching his platform again when Jeremy scores, and he's actually halfway to the platform again when Savage is just getting into the water. So Terry is in a big lead at this point, and Savage doesn't look like he's going to be doing too well. But we see Terry get back, and he starts missing the net here. Jeremy
Terry,
gets back.
big and long.
Yeah, it's like he hit it right away in his first shot, and then the second time around, he sends it way over. Did you know? Did they say anything that they have to take off the plank from where it was at previously? Each time they go.
Just because when they jump on it, it's gonna shift anyway. So
Yeah.
they have to make adjustments every time they jump on it.
Yeah.
That's about it. They're not required to like move it every time.
So if they were able to get the perfect jump, they might be able to stay there. So
Yeah, if they remember how they set it up,
Yeah.
then great. If not, then you're screwed.
yeah, because I mean he struggles a couple times, and then Jeremy comes in and he does the same thing. He's struggling, and then Savage comes in and right away on his first try he's able to make
He
it,
nails
which
it.
yeah he takes off again, and yeah, this is right when they all go for the third bag. You can tell that's where it's really starting to hit them. Savage gets there first, then it's I believe it's Terry and then Jeremy. But on the way back, Savage is way ahead. Terry catches up to Savage pretty quickly, and then it's a pretty much a race for the finish. Terry goes first. He misses. Savage goes and he makes it on his first try again, and they win. They win their first challenge ever as Angkor, and they win. In this particular case, it was the
A full barbecue set with all the fixins.
No,
and
Terry won, right? Terry won the first one, and then it's Savage who scores. Is that not the order? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Terry gets the big barbecue set. Angkor gets a smaller one. Still a
no. First place with the full barbecue set was Angkor. Savage went in first, and then Terry got second place for Takeo.
Yes, you're right. Yes, I'm looking at my notes. Yes, you're right. Yeah, so they get the big. They had this big old wok. They got the meats, and they get all this stuff to be able to make food with. So they have something finally to celebrate. They break down. They break down really quick. Because they've been living in survivor hell pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah,
they needed this.
Was there anything particular that happened after this where we see Angkor at the other than just celebrating?
Pretty much just having a good time. So
yeah, I mean, it is not. There's nothing that happens too dramatic here at this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, Takeo gets second place. Bayon doesn't get anything, but really they don't really mind because they haven't lost anybody. They haven't gone to tribal once at all, so they're okay. They're just saying we'll be able to win the immunity. And next thing we see is the Takeo tribe, and it's really something. And I remember tweeting to Cass that I'm really glad that I was wrong by my prediction of what she was going to be doing, because really she embraces the second chance. She embraces that it's not going to be, she's not going to be able to use the same game to get as far or even further than the first time around. And she says she's been reading that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and she says she needs to act sincere and sympathize with everybody. And we start seeing her. I remember when I first saw this part, she started chomping that little those beads off her torch. I'm like, what is she doing? She's gonna create an idol.
Yeah,
like,
she's gonna make a fake idol. She's totally gonna do it. I was like so excited.
Yeah, I was like, finally someone's gonna do this. And then we see Kelly just spying on her. Like, oh, what is she doing? What is she doing? And we see her like pretend go back to sleep and like, hey, no, I see you. And then I guess Cass notices that she's awake or something, because she goes further onto the beach, when then Kelly decides, oh, I'm gonna go check what she's doing, and Cass just no. And
Yeah.
that I really thought she was doing it. Did you get excited for this?
I got a little excited, but then when I thought back, I just thought, if she was trying to make a fake idol, why would she do it out on the beach in front of everybody? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then that kind of hit me. No, she's not. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have assumed that she was making a fake idol just because she was trying to make a necklace of some sort.
We see. Yeah, I had a mixed feelings because I was excited that she was doing the fake idol, but at the same time I was like, "What are you doing it there right in front of everybody?"
Yeah,
I get,
exactly.
I get that you're awake before everybody, but come on. But yeah, it ends up being a birthday gift for Kelly. Um, and she even said, I think Kelly Wentworth was like, I thought you were making a fake idol. And Cass is like, "Ah, like I even couldn't do that." Yeah, and like I said, I am really surprised. I am impressed that Cass is really embracing this second chance, this way to change her stripes, because she's like, she even said that everyone wanted her to be what did she say, a booger or something like that. I forgot what she said, but yeah, if anybody would be getting a redemption arc,
It's cast.
and it's Cass, and
Yeah.
in the point that in the way that she's getting a redemption arc to that she's gonna go far in the game. I think
Mhm.
she is the one getting it. Hopefully, it's not something that is just something to throw us off to where she can get voted off pretty easily, pretty fast.
Mhm.
Because I am starting to really like Cass, because she,
Yeah.
and it's not the whole thing because she's being nice, because I don't I myself like some villains. It's more because she learned from her first time out there, and I really
Mhm.
like that. I really like that she actually learned from her first time out there.
And here's the thing, her abilities are kind of right there in the middle, where she's not bad enough to be voted off in a trouble phase, and she's not good enough to be a threat when it comes to the individual phase. And so she's not in any sort of danger. And now that she's making friends with everybody and having an actual social game, it's only going to push her forward further than we would have ever imagined.
Yeah, I'm really liking Cass from now, and like I said, I've tweeted at her, and she's liked it and retweeted and so forth, and I dig it. Becoming a fan of Cass.
She's fun. She's really fun on Twitter.
She's really she doesn't get upset if people talk about her. She knows she goes with it.
Yeah, I mean, this is weeks later, but I mean, I just saw a tweet from her that's really funny. Like, when you're in court and suddenly realize everyone in the courtroom probably really has seen you in your underwear. Hashtag Survivor.
That's funny.
That's pretty good, honestly.
So yeah, so I give two thumbs up to Cass
Oh yeah.
in this
Oh
episode,
yeah.
and we'll see some more episodes later on as well.
Yep.
So we switch over to the Bayon tribe, and once again, Spencer is talking to Jeremy, another Brains tribe member who is doing really good in this game. I think, well, was doing really good until until his little
Yeah,
mishap.
he's not just skating by right now,
But
just
he,
because yeah, he's in the minority still
yeah,
in Bayonne.
but he's starting to, I think, trying to get some traction here. He's really bonding with Jeremy, even though he's, like we said last time around, his bonding was really more of not having emotions in his emotional outreach to Jeremy. But Jeremy seems to have really taken to him. He asked him if there's an alliance between himself and Wigglesworth, and he says no, not really. No, I think Kelly is someone who will switch back immediately as soon as we do a merge or we do something like that. And
Yeah.
Monica doesn't really buy it at all. One of the few times that we actually see Monica in this season so far. And she starts saying something right now where she says we should keep the girl count up, and this is the first time she says it. We should keep the girl count up for a possible girls alliance later on. So she's out for getting Spencer out, and so we go to the immunity challenge, which is I don't know. I think it's a very dangerous immunity challenge. But Mark,
Yeah.
can you elaborate what's going on?
It's basically one of the most dangerous challenges in Survivor history. One person is gonna be the caller, and they have to verbally lead around everybody else who's blindfolded to grab huge wooden puzzle pieces back to their mat. And then when everything is back on the mat, everybody will take off their blindfolds and everybody will work on the puzzle together, which is like a big. They have to put all the pieces together to form this big cube,
Yeah.
basically.
This is I know of there's been several seasons where they've had really good blindfold challenges, but they're
Hmm.
always really dangerous. Really dangerous because people bump into each other.
Not as bumping into each other is not as dangerous as like dropping these huge wooden pieces on anybody, on
Well,
any
was it
part of anybody.
just last season? It was who was it? I can't remember her name. She had that those planks fall on her head. Remember?
Oh, what's her name?
Was it Kelly?
I don't remember her name anymore.
I don't remember her name. She went out pretty not too much after the merge, but it was Mike's friend. Yeah, and then we see this happen here again where people or first of all people are running into each other. They're getting knocked out by these wooden pieces. We see Spencer get smashed by one of these. We see Tasha get knocked over by one of these. And the only people who really are safe are Varner, who is calling for Angkor, Kimmy for Bayon, and Cass for Takeo. Spencer actually gets hit twice. There's a point where she, my wife is coming in. um, so yeah,
Hello.
there's a point where Spencer gets hit twice. First, he gets knocked over onto another piece of where the cube is, and then he has this anchor piece roll right into his leg where it looks like it could have broken his toe. It could have broken a shin. It could have done something to him.
Yeah.
And it's just a really dangerous. I think this particular one was really dangerous. And then we later see once everybody actually has their pieces together, Varner jumps down from his ledge up there to help out, and he drops a piece on his own foot, and we can see that it really messes up his foot.
Yeah.
The surprise is that Angkor was in the lead at this in this particular challenge early on, and it really just went away from them once they started doing the puzzle.
Yeah, it went downhill really fast.
Yeah, and I wrote down some not word for word, but where Terry was just looking around, looking for her piece because Cass wasn't paying attention to him, and then Jeff was like, "Deets is like that guy in the party though no one wants to talk to, waiting for someone to invite him to a dance." And then Abby Maria, I see her just she looks like the Frankenstein monster, just with her arms out, and she's doing nothing. She's being worthless in this challenge, and the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about at the challenge is Joe.
Hmm.
How is Joe finding these pieces?
Gosh, magic and ninja skills, I guess.
I mean, that's another thing people were talking on the internet. Joe had to be able to see something because he was heading to these pieces without any help, or as far as we can tell, he was not getting any help locating these pieces. And then once he did locate the pieces, he was picking them up and running with them right to the mat. I think only once he kind of did a little bit of stumble, but it was really suspicious that he was able to do all that by himself.
Interesting. I mean, their caller might just be, talking to him and him alone, and maybe we just weren't seeing or hearing it.
Yeah, the edit didn't give us that, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they wanted to give us something to talk about, some sort of conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, if the caller wasn't talking to you, you might try to like go out there on your own and try to reach for pieces and try to feel around and see if you can find anything. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So like you said, Takeo who is this? Is it Bayon finishes first here?
Bayon finishes first.
Then it's followed by Takeo, and
Yeah.
Anchor is not even close. That puzzle does not even look like a cube.
No, they weren't even trying towards the end. They were just sitting there
Yeah,
waiting for Takeo to finish.
yeah. Jeff even calls him Takeo. Anchor is just standing there waiting for this to finish, and there's nothing for
Yeah.
them to do. And then Jeff pretty much right away tells him, "Goes, hey, look, I'm not a physical threat to anybody. He's trying to save himself." Tasha right away goes to talk to Savage about Varner needing to go. Really, there's not. I know that the producers really try to give us an edit where there was a possibility that maybe Wu might go, and it's all because of Abby. Abby, she's still here for some reason. They haven't gotten rid of her.
And she's they're giving her a lot of power that I don't know is warranted, honestly. And Jeff might have tried to talk to Abby Maria and try to flip it on either Andrew or Tasha, but with Jeff and Wu assuming that Abby Maria was with them, and then the two of them voting for each other, it's like Abby Maria's vote doesn't even matter anymore. Whoever Andrew and Tasha is going to vote for together, that's the person that's going to go.
Yeah, they let her. I really think it's Savage and Tasha really letting Abby Maria think she has the power to do this, because really they don't need her vote.
No, they don't need her vote at all.
Yeah, they don't need her vote. They let her think it's part of that whole thing that Tasha is really just holding on to her as a goat, and and I don't know. Tasha has a way to talking to Abby where she doesn't lose, and she talks in the next episode where she's just like, it takes everything that I have to not to not yell at her or whatever. But yeah, she gives her they give her the power even though it's not really there. And even Abby Maria said that in the previous episode, Tasha spoke sweet nothings to me, and they already know what she wants. They know how to talk to her. If she gets upset, they just throw these nothings at her.
Yeah,
and
they just sweet talk her, and they at least they know what works.
Yeah. So yeah,
with this girl.
We got this whole edit, and then but at the end, I think it was really, really obvious what's gonna happen. Even Jeff was at the tribal council. Couldn't we just vote? I mean, in his interviews after the vote off, he says that he already knew what's going on. There was no way that he thought that Wu was gonna go. And the only thing that I know that I see that when Wu is the first one to go vote, Abby tells him, make sure don't write Abby, because he's been the one that's writing Abby every single one. And unfortunately, our one of our favorites goes home in episode 4.
Unfortunately, we also learned after the episode that the injury that Jeff sustained during that immunity challenge was a little more serious than we thought it was. And even though he didn't want to quit, I think it was best for them to vote him out because the injury could have led to more serious stuff.
Yeah, he in his post show interviews, he said, I think someone asked him, how's your toe, and he's like, the nails just came off.
Yikes.
So apparently it was purple and blue, and it was really bad.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty serious.
Yeah. So that was episode 4. Anything of note that you wanna talk about or anything like that?
Just thank you, Varner, for 4 fantastic episodes. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be back pretty soon. Yeah. That was, like I said, that was episode 4. What's the beef? Where our favorite, like I said, I had made that meme for him, the Jeff father. He played too hard.
He carried the show.
He carried the show for the first 4 episodes. He played way too hard, way too fast.
Yeah, but that's how he caught everybody's attention, and because he was playing so hard, and he pretty much showed us that he had what it takes to play this game.
Yeah,
so we do appreciate that.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying, why didn't we get him a lot sooner? But we don't know if maybe that's the reason why he was able to play the way he did play this time around. It just took him that long to be able to develop the game he has right now. So
Yeah, I mean he's been watching the show this entire time the show's been on, and I mean he's been in the running for other previous returnee seasons. It just didn't really pan out the way they wanted to, and finally in a season where we get to control who goes in, and then of course everybody's gonna vote in him because everybody's been talking about Jeff forever,
nostalgia.
and it's just part of nostalgia. And Jeff's been really really aggressive in his campaigning, and I think it really paid off.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to episode 5.